Hi my beautiful bookish friends, I'm Bowen and welcome to my channel. This video is going to be my April wrap-up. April was such a good reading month for me. I got 2 5-stars, I read the most books that I've read all year, and I got no DNFs. I did also get the lowest rated book that I've given all year that I finished that wasn't a DNF. So, you know, it's sort of a mixed bag, but overall, 2 5-stars, I will count that as a win. So let's get into all the books that I read in the month of April. So first up we have Unexpectedly Real by Crystal Wick. This one I gave a 2.5 and a 4 spice rating. This book follows Pippa and Blake, and Pippa's business is failing, so one of her clients, Blake, proposes to her in order to save her business. Now, I get that Pippa has some trauma and she doesn't really believe that Blake could be into her because she's a bigger girl and her mother was a piece of shit and didn't really support her and put her down all the time. Trauma fucks you up. I get that. I really do. Blake proposing to her in order to save her business instead of just coming out and saying, hey, I like you, I'm attracted to you, I think we should date, felt a little bit too coercion-y for me. This could have all been fixed with an honest conversation, and his jealousy towards her best friend who is gay, was really fucking dumb. Like, sometimes I don't mind jealousy in a book, but when it's towards the gay best friend, that is just too far for me. It seemed like every single time they were leading up to an important conversation, a conversation that they needed to have, they ended up just having sex instead. And don't get me wrong, I love a smutty book, but that was just really fucking annoying. Like, oh my god, be an adult, use your words. I get it, it's hard, sex is more fun, but like, just have a conversation. Please, for the love of all that is fucking holy. The tropes for this one are plus size and marriage of convenience. Next we have Truth or Beard by Penny Reid. This one I gave a 3.5 and a 2 spice rating. This book follows Dwayne and Jessica has had a thing for Dwayne's twin brother Beau for pretty much her entire life. Like, completely besotted with him, but she's never actually had a conversation with him because she gets really tongue-tied and flustered around him. So when she mistakes Dwayne for Beau one night and things get a little hot and heavy between them, she starts to look at these brothers in a whole new light, especially the one that she thought she hated. Now, this one in theory is meant to be enemies to lovers. Bitch, where? Genuine fucking question. They are enemies for about 0.5 seconds before she is just lusting after his dick. I feel like if I'd have listened to the audiobook, I might have enjoyed this more, but I just couldn't get the accent right in my head. Now, this is set in Wisconsin. See, I can't even say the name of the place right. So obviously I can't get the accent right. The writing was really cringy. If I had to read about the hot looks that they were giving each other one more time, I swear to fuck, I was gonna scream. Jessica has always wanted to travel the world, so she's staying at home to kind of save up in order to be able to do that. She's only planning on being at home for like a couple of years, but Dwayne really wants to settle down, so he puts like a timeline on their relationship, saying that they're going to be together for 1 year before she goes off and travels the world. That timeline just felt really stupid. Like, why are you going to just have one foot in, one foot out the door? Either do it or don't fucking do it. And the biker gang aspect of this just felt really comically out of place, but not in a good way. There was just a lot happening in this. It was just too much. And also, just a side note, what small town has 2 strip clubs? That was fucking weird. The tropes for this one are Motorcycle Club, Small Town, and Grumpy Sunshine. Next we have The Starless Sea by Emma Morgenstern. This one I gave a 4.25. I swear to God, Satan and every circle of hell, I read this entire fucking audiobook. I listened to every single second of it from start to finish. Could I tell you what it's about? No. I just know how it made me feel, and it just made me feel warm and fuzzy, and it was really cozy, and the writing was so beautiful. I did have a good time with this. I just didn't follow it. I just let it take me where the fuck it wanted to go. And I was just along for the ride. It was almost too pretentious for me, but it did kind of walk that line. But I did really enjoy it. I might reread this in the future because I feel like it's a book that I could experience almost for the first time again because of how much of the actual story that I retained, which is not a lot. The tropes for this one are journey and magic. Then we have Raven's Return by Ruby Dixon. This one I gave a 3.5 and a 3 spice rating. This is the 11th book in the Ice Home series. I've read so many books in this world now, it is worrying. I read the Ice Planet Barbarian series, now we're on book 11 of the Ice Home series. I am not stopping anytime soon. This one is Raven's story, and she goes missing when she's walking along the beach. And Udron has had a thing for her for a very long time, and he is determined to find her. What gets me though is how fast everyone else gives up on finding her. Like, if the human women go missing on this planet and they go with one of the aliens, that's kind of considered okay because the aliens are more adept to be able to take care of the humans on this planet. I'm not saying the humans couldn't fend for themselves, it's just a lot fucking harder dealing with that much snow when you're gonna fall into it without some snowshoes and you've got a 7-foot alien taking care of you. So if the human woman goes missing with an alien, normally it's considered that he's gonna look out for her, so it's fine. Raven goes missing on her own, and the fact that everyone else other than this guy gives up on her so quickly really just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Raven and Udron are both hiding something from each other, and it's kind of before the series starts. So Raven's hiding who she used to be back on Earth and the type of person that she was. And Udron is also hiding something that makes him feel inadequate. Both of their secrets make them feel inadequate and like they don't deserve the other one. Overall, this one was just okay. It's not my favourite in the series, but it's not my least favourite either. I am obviously going to continue picking up this series though, because it's just a comfort read at this point. The tropes for this one are aliens, fated mates, and kidnapping. Next we have Public Rivalry by Rebecca Kincaid. This one I gave a 3.25 and a 4 spice rating. This book follows Corinne and Gray, and they have been academic rivals pretty much their entire lives, from school to university, even into the job market. They felt like that they have been competing. But when Gray pops up on one of Corinne's dating apps and her friend swipes yes, she starts to see him in a whole new light and realizes he never hated her at all. Honestly, I think pretty much all of this rivalry was in Corinne's head. I do like the fact that she is smart and she owns it, like she never dumbs herself down for another person, and she's worked hard to get to where she is. Whereas Gray is pretty much a nepo baby. His parents are billionaires and they gave him a foot in the door to be able to get to his dream college, his dream job. Now, because he's been competing with Corinne the entire time, we know that he is smart. The billionaire aspect of it for me just kind of felt really douchey. It just is a lot of name dropping. Gray has all of the audacity and the entitlement of a mediocre rich white man. At least he owns that, but I don't love it. Corinne was the best part about this book. There was one part towards the end where she made a decision that didn't really make sense for her, in my opinion, but overall, this book was just kind of okay. The tropes for this one are billionaire and rivals to lovers. Then we have Lyric and the Heartbeats by Lana Cole. This one I gave a 3.25 and a 4 spice rating. This is an Omegaverse book, and this one follows Lyric, who is an Omega, and she is an artist and she is going on tour for the first time, but she needs to find a band that will go on tour with her. But she's not looking for a pack, she's looking for a band specifically, and that might cause some problems. This is a Why Choose story. It has 1 Omega, 4 Alphas, and technically 2 Betas, but only one of them that is with her. The other one is just in the band. Now, in my opinion, that's just too many people. With this book in particular, I do have some art prints of all of the characters, and I've kind of written on the back, like, things about them, so their name, their designation. So we've got Lyric, Omega, she's the singer, and her scent, because that's very important in Omegaverse apparently. My main issue with this one is the fact that 2 of the main characters don't get introduced until pretty much the halfway mark. One of them doesn't get really introduced until like 70% of the way in. At that point, why are you even here, my guy? Like, we were doing fine without you. You don't need to be here. Especially because the one that is introduced quite late in the book has a very similar personality to one that's been there since the start. So if Javi's scenes were replaced with Adria's scenes, the whole book would have been fine. I would much rather have got the perspective of Desi, who is the other beta that she's not in a relationship with but is part of the band. I would much rather have got her than Javi, because he just felt really pointless. And also there was this whole underlying tension of the Omegas going missing that really just amounted to nothing. And it was just really underwhelming. I did like the little nods that we get to the other books in this series, but honestly, this is my least favourite one in the series so far. The tropes for this one are Omegaverse, Celebrity, Why Choose, Found Family, and Journey because they're on music tour. Then we have Children of Fallen Gods by Clarissa Broadbent. This one I gave a 4-star and a 1 spice rating. This is the second book in the series for Daughter of No Worlds, and this one was bleak. I don't want to say too much about it because spoilers. I like the additional point of views that we get in this one that really adds to the story, and that twist, honestly, at the end I did not see it coming at all. That might be on me, I'm not the best at spotting those. But I really like the way that this whole series is paced. It's done so well. But this whole book was just sad. Even the romance didn't really add much levity to it, because there was just a really sad, depressing undertone throughout this entire book. I'm not mad about it. I feel like it needed to happen, but it was not necessarily what you would call a good time. The tropes for this one are magic, fae, political takeover, and chosen one. Then we have Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nescosta. This one I gave a 3.25 and a 5 spice rating. This book follows Violet, who is struggling to find work since she left school, but she ends up coming across this ad for Morning Glory Milking Farm. So she applies for the job because at this point, well, she needs to pay her bills. She doesn't really know what this job entails until she gets to the training, at which point she finds out that she is going to be milking the minotaurs that come in for collection of their semen. 24 ounces of it. Can we just take a second to appreciate how much 24 ounces is? That is a pint and a quarter. That is 682 milliliters. Like, that is excessive. And the fact that she bought up that amount multiple times really just made me uncomfy. I didn't like that. I honestly thought this would be a stupid, goofy, fun time. And it was, but it was also really fucking cringy. Especially when she gets a thing for one of her clients in particular. And I feel like for the most part of this book, that thing that she had for him was very, very one-sided. She was checking his Instagram. She even did like a drive-by of where she thought he lived, which just felt stalkery. Like, I get checking someone's Instagram, but like doing a drive-by is going too fucking far. It got to a point where she was really just obsessed with him, and it was kind of creepy to me, even before he'd really shown any interest with her. Like, for the most part, I think he was being polite. Like, yeah, he liked her by the end, but to get to that point, it was a little embarrassed for you, babes. Another thing in this that was just really cringy is how much the main character just fully waxed poetic about this bull's testicles. I have never seen a main character so obsessed with someone's balls before. It was just really creepy to me. Like, that's just too much. Why? Just why? I think I would continue this series because I have read a book by this author before that I did really like. This one is exactly as cringy as everyone says it is. It's almost funny. Not quite, but almost. The tropes for this one are sex worker, monster, and no third out breakup. Next we have Alien Orphan by Ursa Dax. This one I gave a 4.5 and a 3 spice rating. I'm not gonna lie, I was fully ready to give up on this series. I read the first two and I gave them like 3.5-ish. And I bought these really pretty editions from Vinted for reasonably cheap, and I got them signed while I was at Rare. But considering how little I liked the first two, I was just gonna read this one and then give up. I'm so glad I powered through and read this one because I really love this. First of all, we got rid of the alien romance trope that I fucking hate, and that's the language barrier trope. Logically, I get it. I get why there's a language barrier on an alien planet. I do. But we're on an alien planet. Can we fuck logic out the window at this point, please? Let's just have the language barrier fixed at the very start of the book. And this one is already fixed before the book starts, which I love that for me. This book follows Melanie and Taliuk is the leader of like the third clan on this planet. And he knows that Melanie is his fated mate, but he is very patient with her. Whereas the other two main characters in this series are very I am man, beat on chest. He is just so patient and kind, and he goes at her pace, and he's like, I will wait forever for you. And I just love him so fucking much. He is so sweet and so patient, and I just love a scarred main character as well. Even the little snippet we get of the main character from book 5, I believe, I already love him. He got one chapter. I love him already. I'm just so glad I carried on with this series. There is one small little me being petty thing that I didn't love, is the job that the main character used to have on Earth didn't make sense for the main character's personality. This is the same thing in Raven's Return. It just doesn't make sense, and it feels like it was only there to push a certain aspect of this book. But other than that, this book is just phenomenal. I'm so glad I carried on with this series. The tropes for this one are aliens and fated mates. I also read the last book in the Daughter of No World series, which is Mother of Death and Dawn by Carissa Broadbent. This one I gave a 4.25 and a 3 spice rating. This was such a good end to this series. I feel like the villain main characters were villains that you actually understood and could empathize with. I hate when the villain main character is like villain trademark, where it's almost cartoonish in their villainy. Unless that's the point of the story, which in this one it's not. I want to be able to understand why the villain is doing what they're doing. I love how complex all of the characters were in this, and you see their true motivations behind everything, and the way that the story wraps up was just really beautiful. Not that it affected my rating, but one thing that is really petty, especially about the audiobooks for this, is you can hear how many times the female narrator swallows. Every time. That was not edited out, and I don't love that. It truly just itched my brain wrong. I suffered through it, but that's one thing that I just didn't love. I really enjoyed this series. I had such a good time with this. I don't think it's quite shelf worthy. Like, I'm okay with not owning a copy of it, but I did have a lot of fun with this. The tropes for this one are journey, magic, political takeover, chosen one, fae, and amnesia. Now I have to take a quick pause in filming while I go to work, so if it looks a little different when I come back, that is why. I am back from work. We have lost all daylight. So this is what we're working with. I'm just going to try and power through the second half of this video. The next book that I have is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. This one I gave a 3.75 and a 3 spice rating. This book follows Delilah, who is back in her small town for her sister's wedding. Now, her and her sister have a very strained relationship. Delilah always thought that her sister Astrid never really wanted her around, and it didn't really help that her group of friends all kind of made fun of her a little bit. And while she wasn't the worst one out of the group, Claire is one of Astrid's best friends. There's a plot line in this that really just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and that's the plot line with Astrid's fiance. Delilah can immediately see that this guy is an absolute douche canoe, and Astrid's friends can see it as well, but it's never something they can put their finger on. It's just they get bad vibes from the guy. So Claire and Iris, who are Astrid's best friends, rope Delilah in to sabotage this wedding because they know that this is not the man for their best friend. You could have just had an honest conversation with your best friend about why you'd think that this guy is not right for her. Yeah, I get it. It's not a fun conversation. But you didn't need to go to all this pettiness. This is definitely one of those books that I enjoyed in the moment, but the second I put any amount of critical thought into it, the less that I like it and the more problems that I find with it. Because while I really liked Claire as a main character, I thought she was really lovely and really sweet, everyone else was kind of a dick. Delilah's purposely doing things to get underneath her sister's skin, and Astrid's not really reaching out for Delilah either. They're just butting heads against each other. Iris is honestly kind of a bully, like in a friendly way, but Delilah is not taking it as friends because they're not friends. She's just being a bitch for no reason, really, other than habit. And the only person I root for in this is Claire and her daughter Ruby. I do like the fact that Delilah bonds with Ruby over photography and she shows her how to do edits and stuff and lets her take the reins with it. I thought that was really lovely. And I did enjoy this in the moment, but the more I think about it, the less I like it. The tropes for this one are single parent, plus size, forced proximity, small town, and sister's best friend. Then we have Faking It by Josie Hart. This one I gave a 2.75 and a 3 spice rating. Someone save me from the dude bro vibes in this book. This book follows Sebastian and Lexi, and Sebastian, on a dare from his friends, says he's looking for a wife in front of the paparazzi. And he's a billionaire, so now he's got women like flocking to his door in order to be the one that marries him. So they can get that like cushy lifestyle because, well, he's a billionaire and he's reasonably attractive. Okay, cool. Good for you. So instead of, oh, I don't know, admitting that he was wrong, which he adamantly refuses to do, like they could set up a press conference and say that he was wrong and he was drunk and whatever. Instead of doing that, he decides he's going to fake it with the one girl that's already turned him down. Twice. The same woman he had a crush on in high school that was the weird kid, but now she's really altruistic and she feeds the homeless and she always helps out and branches out into her community, like the really charitable person. I just did not buy their relationship for even 1 second, because Sebastian is completely different with her than he is around her friends, and that is just a massive red flag to me. Those shitty friends that dared him to say what he said, we never hear from them again. And it's not because he knows better and he got rid of the shitty friends. No, they're just not in the book. I just don't like this couple together. Like, the book itself was fine, but I'm never gonna think about it again. It's just not great. The tropes for this one are billionaire, celebrity, and second chance. Next we have New Alpha on the Block by M.M. Farmer. This one I gave a 3.5 and a 4 spice rating. This is an Omegaverse book that has a pretty experienced Omega but a pretty young Alpha. I say young, there's actually only a 5-year age difference between them. Like, they go on and on about how young this Alpha is. He's 20, the other one's 25. So I don't personally consider an age gap that's 5 years a big age difference. I mean, I get the life experience difference between the single dad Omega that has 3 kids to the fresh-faced 20-year-old Alpha. I understand the big life discrepancy there in lived experience, but in actual age, there's not a lot of difference to me. And this one was an MPreg romance, and it has been a very long time since I've read an MPreg romance. In fact, I genuinely don't think I can tell you the last time I read one. It was probably a fan fiction of some description many, many moons ago, most likely when I was a teenager. And for all of the alien and monster smut that I read, you think that this wouldn't weird me out. But for some reason, it really did. Justin, who is our Alpha, and Kyle, who is our Omega, rush into a relationship really quickly after the heat passes in order to help Kyle keep the kids because his ex is threatening to take them away from him. This could have all been easily solved if they'd have had like one conversation with his ex's parents, who are very much still in his life. There was just a lot of miscommunication, and not in a good way. The tropes for this one are Omegaverse, single parent, sex worker, and a mild spoiler for Marriage of Convenience. Speaking of monster romances, the next one that I read is Made of My Existence by Rhea Fox. This one I gave a 3.75 and a 4 spice rating. This book follows Elora and Ben, and they both work at the same IT company, where Elora is really passionate about her work, and she has risen through the ranks, and now she is Ben's boss. There is a 10-year age gap between the two of them. She's 25 and he's 35, but she is his boss. So I feel like the age gap thing was balanced out by the fact that she has more senior management over him. I did like the pacing of this story, but the pacing of the sexual aspect was really weird because I feel like it was so much hotter before the tension broke. Once they actually started sleeping together, it wasn't as hot for me. The build-up was a lot of fun though. At the start of this book, and honestly for a good chunk of it, she's got this friends with benefits. He's kind of douchey and she's pretty much just using him for sex. Like, no matter how much of a douche he was not necessarily like a horrible person. It was just bad vibes. He still deserved better than the treatment that he got. She should have had a conversation with him to just say it was ending. Even if they were just friends with benefits, I think it was really shitty. But this does have one of the superior micro tropes in it, and that is hurt comfort. Hurt comfort will always be my thing. I love hurt comfort every single fucking time. The tropes for this one are monster, pet, age gap, and workplace. Next we have To Catch a Firefly by Emmy Sanders. This one I gave a 5-star and a 3 spice rating. Oh my fuck, I love this book. This book is so goddamn beautiful. I listened to this while I was on a long drive. I don't know whether that was the best decision, because you can't really see too well to drive if you're crying. This book follows Ellis and Lucky, who are childhood friends. They meet and become friends when they're like 10 years old. And Ellis is autistic, like non-verbal selective mutism autistic. He barely speaks, but he will speak to Lucky. It's just sometimes really hard for him to get words out well. But the way that him and Lucky just understand each other and they just get it, oh my god, it was so beautiful. I've only ever heard good things about this book, and when a book is this hyped, I get really nervous. But oh my god, this was so worth it. The parts from Ellis's point of view, like, he doesn't say much, but his chapters just broke me. Like, it's so beautiful. You see these two growing up throughout their life when they're 10, when they're 16, all the way into their adulthood, and seeing their unwavering friendship for each other grow into just this deep love for each other. It just makes my heart so happy. This is what every other childhood friends to lovers wishes it could be. Every single possible definition of heartbreakingly beautiful is exactly what this book is. The more I think about it, the more I want to cry. And I still have books to get through, so I just need to kind of skim over this and just be like, please, please read it. It's so good. Like, even if you just skim through the spicy parts because you're not into that, that's fine. Just read the beautiful relationship between these two men because, oh my god, it makes me want to cry. I'm not doing that today. The tropes for this one are childhood friends to lovers, small town, neighbours, and no third act breakup. Next we have The Slowest Burn by Sarah Chamberlain. This one I gave a 3.5 and a 2 spice rating. This book follows Ellie and Kieran is a celebrity chef that's just won one of these big cook-off shows, and he's got this deal to write a cookbook. And Ellie is a cookbook ghostwriter that's been hired to help him. They don't exactly get off on the right foot, but they do kind of balance each other out, and eventually they do start to see eye to eye. And I think the way that the individual struggles were handled was done really, really well. His ADHD, and she is a widow, so she's still dealing with a lot of grief from the loss of her husband, which isn't really helped by the fact that she's still very, very close to their in-laws, so their grief kind of compounds her grief. I get that the slowest burn is kind of meant to be in reference to cooking and their relationship, but how slow can a slow burn be in 320 pages? I did really enjoy this. I feel like for all the mentions of food, there should have been like at least one recipe from the book in the back. Like, it doesn't have to be super fancy, but it's a chef and a cookbook ghostwriter. You couldn't give us something. But the main issue I had with this is that anytime I put it down, I wasn't exactly eager to pick it back up again. The tropes for this one are forced proximity, pet, plus size, and celebrity, because he's a celebrity chef. The last books that I have to talk about here are all in the reading vlog that I will link in the description down below, but the first one we have is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. This one I gave a 4.5 and a 2 spice rating. This is the companion sequel to Out on a Limb, and it follows the best friend characters from that book. It follows Caleb and Sarah, and they've been together since they were 14 years old, and Sarah's kind of having a little bit of a problem with the sense that she doesn't feel like she has anything for herself outside the relationship she has with her husband. Like, she has no job, she only really has one best friend, and she doesn't really have anything that's just hers. And anytime that she tries at something and fails at it, Caleb's always there to swoop in and save the day, and she kind of wants to be able to succeed or fail at something on her own. So Sarah's best friend Wynne, from the first book, suggests that they go on this couple's counselling retreat in the woods, but neither of them are outdoorsy people, but Sarah feels like she really needs this to kind of rekindle the fire within herself and within her marriage. So that's what they do. They go on this couple's counselling retreat, and it's about as shenanigans as you can imagine. There's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of healing, and seeing their relationship was just so beautiful. Marriage in trouble romances are just not ones that I tend to gravitate towards as much. I just don't think they're as popular. But this was so freaking good. Sarah was a little bit annoying in this, but it's annoying in a way where I get it. Like, it's annoying because I related to her so much, not annoying because I don't like her. It's just I felt too seen. And Caleb was so sweet and so loving as a partner, and he just wanted to support her. And I love these two together. Hannah Bonham Young is immediately an author by author. I've read everything that she's written so far, and I've loved everything. The tropes for this one are marriage in trouble, dual timeline because we do get flashbacks to when they first got together, isolated environment because they are camping, no third act breakup, and found family. Next we have the lowest rated book that I've given all year that wasn't a DNF, and that's Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I gave this one a 2.25 and a 4 spice rating. This book follows Scarlett and Lucas, and she is very much into the sub dynamic of sex, and he is very much into the dom dynamic of sex, so they end up being friends with benefits. Now, there are two third wheels in this book that I absolutely fucking couldn't stand. The first one, let's be honest, it's Ali Hazelwood, I should have seen this coming, is academia. Academia is basically the third wheel of this book, because they go on and on about the chemistry aspect of this, because they are students of Adam and Olive from the Love Hypothesis, so it does kind of all tie in together in the same world. But all of the academia shit just goes completely over my head. Now, don't get me wrong, love women in STEM, think it's really important, we need that representation, we really do. I am just not that bitch. So a lot of the academic talk, which I'm not gonna lie, was a very good chunk of this book, I was skim reading it because I could not express how much I don't fucking care. And the second third wheel, and arguably the most fucking annoying one, is Scarlett's friend and Lucas's ex, Penn. Now, Penn and Lucas are together at the very, very start of this book, but they break up very early on in this book. In fact, it's even Penn's idea for Scarlett and Lucas to sleep together. But even throughout this book, Penn is still acting very girlfriendy towards him, like sitting on his lap at parties and holding him around the waist, and she's not told any of her friends that they're broken up. The only people that know are his friends and Scarlett. So for all intents and purposes, the general masses of their friend group all think that Penn and Lucas are still together. And I get that you don't have to tell anyone about what your relationship status is, that's no one else's business. But when your friend is now sleeping with your ex, which you have 100% okayed with, it's going to make your friend look like the bad guy. And I feel like Penn was just setting Scarlett up for a fall in this. And it's just giving pick-me energy, and I do not fucking like it. The only reason why I was enjoying this at any point was the sexual aspect of it, because that was fun and entertaining, and it's definitely Ali Hazelwood's spiciest book. But everything else that wasn't smut, no. I'm not interested, I'm not here for it. I don't even really like the chemistry between these two characters outside of the bedroom or outside of sex. Like, anything that's not that, I don't care. The tropes for this one are friends, ex, and sports, because he's an Olympic swimmer and she's a diver. Apparently we're going from the bottom to the top today, so the next one we have is First Time Caller by B.K. Barrison. This one I gave a 5-star and a 2 spice rating. This is a gender-flipped Sleepless in Seattle retelling, and it follows Aiden and Lucy, and Lucy's daughter calls into Aiden's talk show to talk about her mother's love life. But when she finds her daughter on the phone at 10 o'clock at night, she starts like cursing him out, basically, saying, "Who are you calling my daughter?" And she ends up being on the phone on this radio show, and they end up having a heart-to-heart, and it ends up going viral because a lot of other people feel that way, because she was really open and honest with this guy, whom she's never met before. But then she's brought onto the radio show, and now she has her own segment on the show, and it's like the two of them trying to help her find love. I don't know whether this healed something in me or broke something in me or both, but if it didn't have these sprayed edges on it, there's a very highly likely possibility that I would have annotated the fuck out of this book. I just don't like annotating something with a sprayed edge, especially if it's a patterned one. If it's a block one, I don't really mind as much, but I wasn't going to put tabs in this. It would just be weird. The writing in this was genuinely so freaking beautiful. It made me cry. Honestly, I feel like that's just the criteria for me giving a 5-star at this point. If it made me cry, it gets 5 stars. I love the slow burn of their relationship, and while this does have a couple of smutty scenes towards the end, if this was a clean romance, I would have been 1000% okay with it and still given it 5 stars. That is how much I fucking love this book. I love the co-parenting relationship that Lucy has with her daughter's dad as well, and everyone in this, I love it so much. It's so beautiful. The tropes for this one are no third out breakup, workplace, and single parent, but like co-parenting, single parent. And the last book that I have for this month is I Got Abducted by Aliens and Now I'm Trapped in a Rom-Com by Kimberly Lemming. I give this one a 4-star and a 3 spice rating. The action, the adventure, the relationship in this book, everything moves so fucking fast. I think it's almost too fast. Like, this is not a very long book, but there were some parts that I had to go back and reread because it moved so fast I don't know how we got here. We never paused or stood still at any point. I don't know whether that's a good thing or not, because I did still really have a great time with this. It's Kimberly Lemming, so it's obviously freaking hilarious. I didn't realise before I picked it up that this was a Why Choose romance, because there are 2 aliens that are into her. It's the fact that there's only one on the cover, okay? This book follows Dorothy, who gets abducted by aliens and dropped onto this random planet that has like pink T-Rexes. She befriends a lion that she calls Toto. Well, her name is Dorothy, so that makes sense. But the lion talks to her. That's her, like, new best friend. And she also ends up hooking up with 2 really hot alien dudes. To be honest with this one, if the title didn't make you want to read it and the cover didn't give you any of the vibes for it, you're not going to like this one. It's exactly as ridiculous as you think it's going to be. Personally, I happen to like silly, stupid books like this. This is just my cup of tea. I just feel like this one was just a little too much stuff going on. Like, we could have done with a little less. Like, I'm not mad about it. I don't hate it. I just feel like I needed to slow down my reading of this or pay a lot more attention than I was actually paying. But it's Kimberly Lemming. She's hilarious, and I'm going to pick up everything she reads. The tropes for this one are aliens, companion, why choose, kidnapping, journey, grumpy sunshine, and no third out breakup. Because one of the aliens that she mates with is grumpy, the other one is sunshine. That is all the books that I read this month, but now it is time to go through the TBR basket and see what we've got left that I didn't read this month. We still have Pucking Around. Like, let's be honest, was I going to get to this monstrosity? Probably not, no. I did say in my last video that I probably wasn't gonna read it because it's fucking brick. I was right, I did not get to this one. I also didn't pick up Assault a Guide. I said I wanted to read longer books in April. Of the 3 long books I picked the shortest one. Yeah, that makes sense for me. In my defense, I did try and read this like a couple of times. I only got to like the first page. My brain just wasn't connecting to it. I'm not giving up on it. I just technically didn't start it unless I get to the end of chapter 1, which I didn't. So apparently now is not the time for this book. And we're not going to talk about it, but it's staying in the TBR basket until I read it. It keeps looking at me, it keeps staring at me and shaming me, but it's staying in here until I read it, because so help me fucking God, I don't even know if this fucking vlog that I keep talking about, this mystery one, is even coming at this point, but it's staying in the basket until I read it out of just shame, if nothing else. Honestly, I don't really know what I'm in the mood for, so I think May is just going to be all based on vibes. I think I kind of want an alien romance, so I might put Married to the Alien Cowboy in here, especially since the last book I read by Ursa Dax I really did enjoy. I'm hoping we can continue the momentum with this series. Next we have Hang the Moon by Alexandra Bellafleur. This is one I have on audio, so a book from my physical TBR that I have on audio is what we're shooting for with this one. I feel like I might give something that's labelled a dark romance a shot. So this is Between Commitment and Betrayal by Cheyenne Rose. Anything from my dark romance shelf would count for this. This is a marriage of convenience one, so maybe this one, but maybe a different dark romance, who knows. It has also been far too long since I read something by Lucy Score, so any Lucy Score book from my shelf. I'm just going to put Story of My Life in for a placeholder, but I do have a couple of other unread Lucy Score books that could kind of fit this section. What else do I want? What are the vibes? What are we feeling? I know I've already got one cowboy romance in there, but that one's aliens, but I also kind of want a non-alien cowboy romance. So this one is Lost and Lasso by Lila Sage, but I've also sort of been in the mood for Catching Sparks by Hannah Cohen. Maybe this one, maybe that one, maybe a different cowboy romance altogether, but this is the cowboy romance spot. Next we have Love Story by Lindsay Kellick. This one is just any of my standalone romances. So just anything that doesn't have any form of a sequel to it would count for this section. We also have Radiant Sin by Katie Robert. This is just any book that I happen to have on my Kindle that is also from my physical TBR. And finally we have Better Hate Than Never by Chloe Leese. This one is just the next book in the series. That's the prompt that I'm kind of filling for this section. So this is what my very packed TBR basket is looking like. For each of my quote-unquote prompts in this, it doesn't necessarily have to be this book, but it does have to be from my physical TBR. So if you managed to get this far into the video, then leave me the crying face emoji in the comments down below for both of the 5 stars that I read in April that made me cry. But for now, thank you so much for stopping by. It has been lovely having you here, and I hope to see you in another video coming very soon. Bye.